Hello everyone. I'm going to call this, I'm Mike. I'm going to call this a Citizens Report. And it's going to be about the Fukushima. If anybody knows, I've talked to a lot of people lately that don't know what Fukushima is or what's happened there. They realize there's been a big earthquake and a tsunami in Japan, but not too many people where I live know about it. So that says the news doesn't say much about it, right? Because I know these people watch the news. So we're going to talk about what is it. We don't seem to get any part of the truth until it's a long time past. And to start with, I guess I better give a short byline on Fukushima and what happened there. Of course, everybody knows the earthquake in Japan back in March 11th, 2011, and it was a big earthquake. Hurt a lot of people, killed a lot of people, and it's still hurting everybody in Japan. Everybody. The only thing I could think of when I seen all that devastation of the tsunami and stuff, I was so worried for the people. Like, you're thinking, run, man, run, get out of there. Save yourself, save everybody, save whatever. Yeah, it gets pretty emotional. So we kind of went on, and Fukushima, a couple days later, they're telling us that there's some problems at a nuclear plant there just on the coast of Fukushima. And we find out that one of the plants have blown up, and the other two are having problems, and they seem to be dumping seawater on it, and the seawater's running back into the sea, heavily contaminated with radiation. And radiation, if you know, it's kind of like a light bulb that you can't see. You flick it on, and all this gamma ray, etc., plutonium, cesium, there's a crazy amount of stuff coming off it, and they still don't know what 3/4 of it does to you. But what they do know isn't good. Well, it's good to know that it screws you up, right? So you find out that the plants are having real trouble, and right now we're sitting here and I'm looking. I've followed this almost every day for a year and a half. I actually don't have television, so I don't watch that, and I have to go to other people's places if I want to see what garbage is on the TV, because that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's all it is. It's all garbage, just to keep you asleep. So we find out we've got 3 plants melting down, 10 million becquerels of radiation coming out of there a day. You got number 4 fuel pool is listing. The foundations and the wall and everything's buckling on one side. There's enough fuel in that number 4 fuel pool. If it tips over and runs out of water and starts burning, there's enough fuel in there to contaminate the complete northern hemisphere. So basically, anybody living in the northern hemisphere, bye. Yeah, might not happen real quick, but bye. Okay, so that's not good. Understanding that, going, holy cow, this is kind of out of control, and we don't even hear about it. Well, it is on the internet, and there are people that put out these reports continuously, every day. Every day, I know a half a dozen right off the hand here that do exactly that, and there's a lot of people out there trying to get the news. In the last couple of months, I've asked a dozen people in this area about Fukushima, etc., and they go, "What's Fukushima? I've never heard of it." And then you go, earthquake, Japan, and they still don't know. So I mean, a lot of people simply don't know what's happening right here on the coast, the North American's coast, right from Alaska down to California and the tip of Baja, etc. That's a large area. uh, you're seeing readings from from individuals, citizens, taking readings of the from with their Geiger counters, getting a baseline, and then they start showing radiation. And right from BC to Ontario, in at certain times, and most definitely it seems to be in the rain, that you're getting extreme levels of radiation, dangerous, like extreme dangerous. It's saying the little info sheet with your Geiger counter, that's kind of crude, says that time to leave, get out of there, don't play with that, you know. And so this is showing up right from BC, down there, up here from California, Oregon, Washington, all the way over to New York, and different amounts here and there. And then the United States has put up um, uh, stations to read this, and I'm really not sure if I can trust anything anymore got to do with the government or anything that we're trying to run, because it all seems twisted. It's never what you're expecting it to do for you. Or much like BC's coast, they turned off all the radiation detectors just after the accident because they didn't want the people to be worried that they're going to die sooner or later. Not today maybe, but it's coming. Radiation, all the stuff from there gets us cancers, and if you look at the Chernobyl stuff, it does nasty stuff to people, and they continue to raise the rate that they say people can live through. So it's not looking very good there. The biggest thing I think is if the people got to get active about this and get their governments, Canada and US, to admit to the extremes. I mean, they're finding it in the fish, the tuna. I've seen guys do it on the north coast, and they're showing salmon and cod. It's all up. It's in it all. And this stuff's continuing to come across the coast or all across the ocean, and it doesn't leave. It stays in there and builds up, and it continues to build up because everything comes across the ocean from Japan. All the weather comes over this way. Kind of does the Alaska Panhandle idea, comes up around, and the other jet streams in the south. Anyways, it splits it off and hits both Canada and the U.S. So we carry on not knowing what's going on. I also read a report about babies in BC, and I'm sure it's happening in the coast of the States too, that they seem to have a very high mortality rate since Fukushima. And just that part, that's enough. I don't need any more. Okay, so I'm thinking, and I don't know, I need help with this, but we gotta bring this to our government, get it put out there. The whole world should be involved here trying to fix this problem. I mean, not now, a year and a half ago. Now is we're simply casualties, right? And that's not a good place to be. Not if you knew. So please, people, share this with everybody. Make everybody aware how bad some of this stuff can be to everyone, to all of us, all the people, we the people. I love it. Yeah, we all will. Times are changing. I'm really enjoying this time, this life. I always knew I was meant for more than what I'd been doing. Still not sure what I meant for, but I definitely found a little open area here I can work with, and I'm feeling good about it because I'm letting people know what maybe some people wouldn't know otherwise. And if I could save one person, if I can get one person to understand what's going on, and they're going to take certain steps. I mean, that's small steps, you know. I have no aspirations of nothing except in order to let the people see, because it is we the people. Dig it. Gotta go. I'll post soon. Love y'all. Bye.
It is the 7th of the 10th, 2012. This is a quick update before I run off to work today. Mitsui Murata, former Japanese ambassador to Switzerland, quote, Due to its ground has been sinking, unit number 4 is now in danger and collapse. According to the secretary of former Prime Minister Kan, the ground level of the building has been sinking 80 centimeters or 31.5 inches unevenly because the ground itself has the problem. Whether the building can resist a quake bigger than a magnitude 6 still remains a question. Now, I remember receiving reports last year of them injecting concrete into the soil around the buildings to try to shore them up a little bit. Apparently this has not gone well. This is posted on ENA News. I just wanted to give a quick heads up. Everybody have a wonderful day. Enjoy what you can. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is for me a great honor and a real pleasure to participate in this memorable event. In 1956, the Cold War was at its height. Nuclear war was menacing mankind, and my prize essay alleged that the world was on the verge of total destruction. Today, the consequences of Fukushima threaten the world. Unit 4 contains 10 times more cesium-137 than Chernobyl. A strong earthquake could mean collapse. The Japanese people realize from experience that nuclear energy generates unacceptable calamities. The collapse of Unit 4 could be one. Japan must assume the historic role of promoting denuclearization, both civilian and military. Ignoring the conditions of the Fukushima, nuclear reactors continue to be promoted at home and abroad. Fukushima must not be forgotten. In the name of the victims and 170,000 refugees, I call for a total ban of nuclear energy. The world must realize that any radioactive contamination creates immense and permanent harm for mankind and the earth. 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, and Fukushima are no less dreadful than atomic bombs. Nuclear reactors are potential super bombs. No single weapon can compete with the potential damage that can be caused by Fukushima Unit 4 or reprocessing plants. The Fukushima accident could have been more catastrophic for Japan and the world. The still present danger of a collapse of Unit 4 after an intensity 7 earthquake must be broadcast the world over. Sound judgment would not have permitted construction of 54 nuclear reactors in a Japan menaced by frequent earthquakes and tsunamis. Only the lack of ethics and responsibility made it possible. Money and the corruption of power plant management sow the seeds of catastrophe. This is not limited to Japan. The same technology that produces nuclear energy produces nuclear weapons. The proliferation of nuclear power plants leads to the proliferation of nuclear weapons, as we are seeing today in North Korea, and Iran. There is no way to ensure the safety of future generations except to eliminate the use of nuclear fission technology across the planet. The lack of ethics and responsibility is highlighted by the absence of a solution for nuclear waste that threatens future generations. The Japanese nuclear village or nuclear dictatorship envisions the restarting and export of nuclear reactors, thus regaining the offensive for the Japanese nuclear industry. This is immoral. It shows no sense of international or intergenerational responsibility. Alas, I fear it will last. Japan should warn the world of the consequences of not heading towards denuclearization. 8 years ago, I predicted that Japanese electric companies would decide Japan's fate. 2 years ago, at the World Congress of International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War in Basel, I pleaded for mobilizing human wisdom to avert the ultimate catastrophe a nuclear calamity could produce. Sadly, these warnings did not deter my fears. Considering the worldwide consequences of a nuclear accident, countries not possessing nuclear reactors should urge denuclearization, be it military or civilian. Countries already opting for nuclear energy should do so as well. Originally, Japan had a maternal culture characterized by harmony and solidarity. After the Meiji Restoration was introduced to Japan, a paternal culture characterized by competition and confrontation in military form. History shows that paternal cultures end in catastrophe. Fukushima is the result of the supremacy of economy, another form of paternal culture introduced after World War II. The maternal culture of harmony is the remedy for the paternal culture of power. Nuclear accidents cause limitless consequences unacceptable to human society. Fukushima is a reminder that the possibilities of such a disaster should be completely zero. The great principle of a world without nuclear weapons and reactors should not be forgotten. The transition to maternal civilization is a prerequisite for this vision. Today, mankind faces a crisis of civilization. The true cause is lack of ethics. Fundamental ethics would prohibit the abuse and exhaustion of natural resources, leaving permanently poisonous waste and enormous debts in its wake. Global ethics requires maternal culture, respecting the environment and interests of future generations. 3 transitions are necessary. Turn selfishness to solidarity, greed to contentment, and materialism to spiritualism. Natural and renewable energies could amply supply the needs of such a civilization, with a transitional period supplemented by fossil fuels. We must prepare to make the short-term sacrifices in our lifestyles for the long-term safety of mankind and the Earth without nuclear energy. The proposal to hold a United Nations Ethics Summit draws more global attention. The trinity of global ethics, maternal civilization, and true denuclearization should become a reality. President Obama's vision of the world without nuclear weapons needs to become the world without nuclear weapons and nuclear reactors. The UN Ethics Summit is the first concrete step. I ardently hope that President Obama takes the initiative to realize this summit and create an International Day of Global Ethics to serve as a yearly reminder. Initially, controversy over content should be carefully avoided. In concluding, let me say the following. The critical situation at Fukushima requires the mobilization of human wisdom on the widest possible scale. The pressing need for setting up a neutral assessment team as well as an international technical cooperation team is evident. The fuel rods in the decaying cooling pool of Unit 4 must be moved to another place as soon as possible. It is a global security issue requiring maximum efforts, which regrettably are not being made. More and more Japanese are awakening to the real dangers of nuclear accident and nuclear reactors. Japan is thus heading steadily towards establishing zero dependency on nuclear energy. The will of heaven and earth is my translation of Providence as philosophy, protecting mankind and the earth. It will help achieve true denuclearization, civil and military, in due course. The rage of those who lost all will continue to enliven anti-nuclear movements in Japan and eventually abroad. Japan must now contribute to the realization of true denuclearization. Then the victims of Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and Fukushima will not have suffered in vain. Thank you.